We're talking about how to analyze the chart. Now, for you to analyze the chart, there's one thing you have to do when you're analyzing, and that is to stop thinking. I mean, not thinking, you don't do any planning or anything, but thinking, in a sense, is partially wrong while you're trading. And why do I say so? Because when you're analyzing the chart, analyzing is more of identifying patterns, because everybody has their own meaning of analyzing the chart. There are different meanings for analysis. Now, there are wrong process to analyzing the chart, and there is a right process to analyzing the chart. Now, why do I say you should stop thinking when you're analyzing? Because when you are trading, as I said, trading is more of identifying. And what are you identifying? You are identifying a strategy that works for you. And what is a strategy? Your strategy is a repeatable pattern or model that you know works for you. Now, thinking outside of what is repeatable or what works for you is wrong. Now, because there are many ways as people analyze, especially newbies or rookies or those who want to start trading, they don't analyze in the right way, because when they analyze, they try to make things work. They try to look for things that will work. That is how they analyze. They just draw random things on the chart and expect it to work. They look for an opportunity that will work for them. No, that is not the right way to analyze. The right way to analyze is basically to identify what works for you. Now, let me be clear. Trading is an identification game. Take note of what I said. Trading is an identification game. It involves you having a repeatable pattern or model, that is your strategy. 2, it involves knowing the scenarios, I call it scenarios, knowing the scenarios in which that pattern will work. Market context, that is what I mean, the confluence around the market in which that your pattern will work. That is what we call a scenario. Whether the market is accumulating or ranging or trending, you know that this my pattern is usually works in a trending market. This my pattern is usually works in a ranging market. And 3, you have fixed rules to guide your decision making when combining your pattern and your scenario, because these are 2 aspects of analyzing that you have to understand. Because when you're analyzing, you're seeking to take a trade that will work for you. So if you know how to analyze properly, you will know that you should focus on identifying the pattern that works for you and knowing the scenario in which that market pattern will work. That is very important. Let's look at how you combine your pattern and your scenario. For example, if you see pattern A in scenario A, you take a trade. If you see pattern B in scenario B, you take a trade. But if you see pattern A in scenario B, that means you are not going to trade. And if you see scenario B and pattern A together, you know that no, this trade combination won't work, because you know that for certain pattern they work when the market is in certain conditions. For example, let's say your pattern is a break and retest pattern, and you have to look at if the market is accumulating or ranging or trending, and that might be your scenario. So you know that the break and retest, it works when the market is ranging, because pattern is one thing, scenario is another thing. Different things can make up your scenario. Now, ranging market is one scenario in which your pattern will work in. Another thing you can add to your scenario is it at the beginning of the trend, at the middle of the trend, or at the ending of a trend or a wave. Now you have to look at all these things and combine them together to have a good knowledge of how you should analyze the charts. Now I will put a video for you guys to watch. It will explain what I mean with it. Now you guys have already seen the video. Now let me explain this so that you guys can understand. When analyzing, you do not think of what to look for, rather you identify what you already know works. That is the right way to analyze. You do not analyze by drawing different things on the chart. No. And you don't draw different things on the chart hoping for something that looks like an opportunity to present itself to you. No. You do proper analysis when you identify what works for you, where and when it is most likely to happen. That is how you do proper analysis. There is a difference between analyzing by looking for what will work for you, what may work for you, or by trying to make this work for you, or by analyzing and trying to think that this is an opportunity that is presenting itself to you. That is a wrong thought process when analyzing. The right process to analyze is by simply identifying what works for you. That is the right process to analyze. Now, I want you to understand this. This will build upon the idea of what I'm really talking about. Trading is not a maze. Trading is more like a puzzle. Now, what do I mean by that? In a maze, you are lost, you are directionless, you don't know if this path will take you to a dead end or if it will lead you out of the maze. That is one thing about a maze. It's just like you're analyzing by looking for what will work for you. You don't know, so you're just taking random trades, looking for random confluences that you don't know if it works. That is what a maze is. But if you look at trading like a puzzle, you will understand that a puzzle is like you have different shapes. Let's look at Sudoku. I don't know if that is the name, or those games that. Let's look at it like a puzzle, right? Now, in a puzzle, all you have to do is identify a shape and fit in this shape inside the box that looks like it. Like all those triangle, you look for a triangle piece, then put it in a triangle hole, or a square into a square, or a octagon into an octagon shape. That is what a puzzle is. And a puzzle is basically looking for something that fits this case or this shape, and just all you have to do is just to put it in. Just have to insert it and it fits automatically. That is how you should look at trading. That is what I said, that if you see pattern A in scenario A, you trade. It's just like seeing a square shape, or you have a square toy and you see a square hole and you put it inside, it will automatically fit. That is what I mean. That is how you trade. You trade by identifying, you analyze by identifying things on the chart that already works for you. That is what a strategy is simply. A strategy is simply something that repeats itself over time. It is a repeatable pattern. It is a repeatable pattern, and if you approach trading with a maze mindset, a maze-like mindset, you will be lost. Honestly, you'll be lost. And that is why you need a trading plan. What is a trading plan? Okay. And that's why you need a trading plan when trading. Now, a trading system, it involves your repeatable pattern, scenarios in which that pattern will work, and the third one, rules that will guide your decision makings and actions in the first two, because you have to combine these two together. And now, the rules that is guiding your pattern and your scenario is what we call your trading plan. That is simply it. Your trading plan involves you knowing what repeats itself, knowing where it repeats itself, and simply knowing when it will work and where to work. Just basically having rules and guidelines to guide you in your decision making and your trading. That is what your trading plan is basically. Just knowing your pattern that repeats itself. Very important, because that's just what a strategy is. A strategy is something that repeats itself. So you know what repeats itself, you know the scenario in which it repeats itself and it works out in your favor, and the probability of you winning in that scenario is higher over the other scenarios. And knowing or having rules that will just guide you basically in your decision makings and in your actions when you see all this pattern in place, knowing what to do, your entries, your exits, all of that should be part of your rules. Thank you.